What is good, everyone? Welcome to this video. I'm Charlie from Conscious Creation, and in this video I would like to share with you what that of Christ consciousness is. So I'm going to start off talking about the difference between unity consciousness and that of duality consciousness. Now, unity consciousness is that of Christ consciousness. So let's start off talking about duality. Duality is when you see yourself as separate from the people in your life, from the people in your environment. You see yourself as separate from everything outside of you and everything that is within your life. A unity-based consciousness is when you see yourself connected to those around you and connected to everything that you are attracting in your life. You have this self-realization that there's an essence within you that is also the same essence within other people. This is also known as Krishna consciousness or the Buddha state. For me personally, I grew up in a Christian environment, not heavily so, but the school that I went to, I had to go to church 3-4 times a week. We did hymns, we did prayers, we studied a bit of the Bible. And after I left school I started to question it. It didn't resonate with me as much as it used to. And if you look at the life of Jesus, who was also known as Yoshua ben Hur, he didn't want to be put on a pedestal. A lot of religions put people on pedestals to that of worship. I'm not saying religions are bad, but Yoshua ben Hur had this self-realization that there's an essence within him that is the same essence within everyone else. So what he does unto others, he will also do to himself. So he wanted to help people to gain this internal freedom and attain these higher states of consciousness so they can create better lives for themselves. And in Christianity as well, is they don't actually know where Yoshua ben Hur was from the ages of 13 to 30. So their most prized person, they don't know where he was for a large amount of his life. If you look at the work of a lady named Trisha McCannon, she wrote a book called The Lost Years of Jesus. And in this book, she explains where he went, how he went traveling around the world, how he went to India, studied in Tibet, how he went to Egypt and studied under the mystery schools, under the pyramids. And this is where he came out and had these amazing abilities to heal people. He was also that of a Kundalini master. He was a master of the Kundalini arts, which is the science behind that of Christ consciousness. Now, I believe that we are all on our own unique pathway and that there are many paths in order to attain these higher states of consciousness. But I would like to share with you this way of doing it so it can give you a better understanding about how this process might work. So in this Kundalini mastery, in order to attain Christ consciousness, there are 3 stages. The first stage is known as Asana. Asana refers to that of yoga. So practicing yoga, getting stronger body posture so you can hold yourself in meditation for longer periods of time. It's learning how to open up the energy centers within your body. The second phase of this Kundalini mastery is that of Pranayam. Now, what is Pranayama? Pranayama is learning how to balance out the nadis within your body, which is your electrical system. So it's done through certain breathing techniques through the nostrils in order to open up the electrical channels within your body so the energy can flow more freely into the higher energy centers in order to attain these higher states of consciousness. Now, as we've grown up, we have been conditioned and we have labeled or we view things in a certain way. And because of this, it creates an imbalance within the body. So therefore, we cannot attain these higher states of awareness. An example of this is in the Western culture particularly, is we focus primarily through that of the left side of the brain, the logical way of thinking. It's very masculine. I'm not saying it's bad. However, if we have this imbalance and we don't use or equal out with that of the right side of the brain, it creates a block in this electrical signal within the body. And on the planet at the moment, we are actually receiving much more of this divine feminine energy. And as this divine feminine energy is hitting our planet, it is causing us an internal change to help us get this balance within our body so this electrical system can run more freely. Kundalini is actually sexual energy, but it's running through a different pathway within the body. So it's sexual energy, but it's coming up the spine and into your brain and into your pineal gland. This is also referred to that of Jacob's ladder, and also the 33 vertebrae and the 33 years of Christ. So as the energy makes its way into your brain and into your pineal gland starts to reawaken and starts to grow again. And as this happens, elements of your ego will start to dismantle itself. Now, the ego is not bad, but it is what creates this sense of separation, this sense of duality consciousness. So as your pineal gland starts to grow, you start to feel this sense of unification. Lots of people talk about oneness and this idea of connectedness, but there's not a lot of weight behind it unless you can start to experience it for yourself. And this is one of the ways in which you can do it, because you start to feel the unification of everything as your pineal gland starts to grow. Now, the third phase of this Kundalini mastery is simply meditation, learning to sit down, observe our thoughts, and maneuver this energy more efficiently within our body. In the Bible, I don't like referring too much to that of the Bible, but in the Bible, I think this is important to know. It says that if we do bad things, we will go to hell. But a lot of yogis believe that hell is simply body consciousness, stuck in the addictive behaviors of our body. We feel that sense of lack, we feel that sense of neediness, and we feel that sense of wanting, that of duality, that of separation. A good example or an analogy I like to use of this is if you have a water bottle and you fill it full of water and you put the lid on and you chuck it into the ocean. Now, the water within the bottle is surrounded by other water, but it feels separate from it. It feels disconnected because it's within this bottle, that of body consciousness. And if you take off the lid and allow the water to come out, it feels connected. It feels part of that oneness. It doesn't feel lack. It feels whole and complete. And that is something that we can do within ourselves. We can feel whole and complete within us. Yoshua Ben-Hur said the kingdom of heaven is within us. This wholeness is within ourselves. Yoshua Ben-Hur, back in his time, also spoke in parables because the information that he was giving to people was to help them to gain more of this internal freedom and these higher states of consciousness and awareness. And the powers that be at the time did not want this information to be available to the masses because then they would lose control. So when he was speaking in these parables, the information that he was giving wasn't direct. And that's why when it comes to things like that of the Bible, you have to look 10 layers deep to really understand what it is trying to tell you. And in the book of Revelations, it says that Christ will come again. It doesn't mean that Jesus will come back again. It means that these teachings will be available to the masses and that anyone can tap into this awareness and this consciousness. It could be called Connor consciousness, James consciousness, Lily consciousness, Rose consciousness, Emily consciousness. Another well-known yogic master named Paramahansa Yogananda also said that God consciousness or unity consciousness or that of Christ consciousness is simply observing our thoughts without judgment. Because if we learn to observe our thoughts and our emotions without judgment, it doesn't create any blocks within the electrical system within our body. It allows this energy to flow more freely and to enter the higher energy centers so we can start to create more of this unification within ourselves. In this unity consciousness, it allows us to create better lives for ourselves because we feel a sense of wholeness within us, and it also allows us to help others around us as well. So peace, much love, and take care.